storms. Gusty winds within these storms from Tallahassee down to Mandeville. Gusty winds and heavy rain, some small hail, and quite a bit of lightning in a few spots as well. Some very heavy downpours through Tallahassee and very strong winds as well. So I'll see if there's any new updates coming in from the National Weather Service. Nothing as of yet, no reports coming in of any sort of, emergency managers reporting any damage, nothing like that. But we'll watch this tornado warned area until 9:15. That is the time, the duration on this warning, again, for St. Tammany Parish. So if you're just joining us now, it's 8:42. Tornado warning in effect for St. Tammany. That includes the town of Pearl River to Tallahassee along Louisiana 41. That also includes a portion of Interstate 59. The tornado warning is extended also into parts of South Mississippi, just west of Picayune. So it does include parts of Pearl River County in Mississippi, just to, be safe and account for the storm motion, because all of this stuff is moving eastward. All of the rain and all of the storms are moving eastward. And like we've been talking about all night, out ahead of that leading edge, you get some rotation, you get a quick spin up tornado. And that's what we're dealing with at this point. One tornado warning in effect for St. Tammany Parish until 9:15. I do want to zoom out so you can see this long line of storms that's moving through. That is our only area where we're watching for a possible tornado. But you don't want to rule it out that for, the next hour or two, as this line advances eastward, we might get a couple more of these that fire up, because that's just the nature of how these line segments go. These straight line winds are a squall line rather, as they push and they move forward, and you get the straight line wind damage. And out ahead of those squall lines, you get those notches of rotation, those areas of rotation, and possible tornadoes. But they're usually quick. They spin up very quickly. They're hard to see, and they're brief, and they're usually weak, but they can still, produce damage if they do happen to reach the ground. And even if they don't, you're still talking very strong winds associated with the storms themselves. Just regular old winds, regular type thunderstorm winds do just as bad as damage sometimes as tornadic winds. So sometimes it's like, what's the difference? My tree is down, my power's out. So, hopefully everyone's doing okay with these. I know we've had some reports of power outages across parts of the North Shore. Hopefully the power will get restored, in a timely fashion. If you haven't charged your phone yet, and you still have power, just do it, just to be safe. Keep it charged in case you lose some power for a few hours tonight. And we'll be dealing with storms probably until about midnight across the entire area. So I did want to go back into the tornado warning. What are we dealing with here? This is the suspected area where the tornado could be, and that is south of Tallahassee, more of a rural part of St. Tammany Parish. It's west of Louisiana 41. It is right along Louisiana 41 in this area. If you live here, this is the time to get into your safe place. Bathroom would be great, interior room, something like that. Now, I'm starting to hear some rain here in the French Quarter, so the storms are pushing into the South Shore. They have been making their way through our river parishes. They're moving into the New Orleans metro. Right now, this is the only area that we're watching that's severe. So that is something to be happy about. But we are still, being vigilant about this tornado warning. The latest radar scan, it looks like some of that rotation has backed off a little bit, has slackened a little bit. Like I mentioned before, these quick spin-up tornadoes out ahead of that main line, that main squall line, aren't always the best structured, always aren't the best formed, which is a good sign. We don't want that. We don't want to see a good structured tornado by any means. So that is also working in our favor. So out ahead of the line, even though we have some brief tornadoes possible, they're not going to be these big significant things that really mess you up. So that's good. So what we're watching now is just a weak area of rotation just west of Hickory. So if you live in Hickory in St. Tammany Parish, make sure you're staying inside, riding this thing out. We have a tornado warning in St. Tammany Parish until 9:15. So we've got some time on this. It is going to be continuing to move eastward, this storm. This area of possible, this area of rotation, this possible tornado is going to continue to move eastward towards Hickory, and that will be along Louisiana 41. So there are some homes and things of that nature here. People certainly living along Louisiana 41 in St. Tammany Parish. this is where you want to stay inside and ride this thing out, because there could be a very quick, brief, weak tornado passing through. Not a guarantee. This is radar indicated, not confirmed by any means. It may just be a loft. You know, the air could be spinning like several feet higher up than the ground, and that's what the radar is seeing. It's scanning the storm higher up than where you're standing. So when it's higher up and there's winds swirling higher up, yeah, it may do some tree damage, but it's hard to say and hard to suspect if it's on the ground. No reports coming in of any damage or anyone seeing this. No visuals just yet. Nothing happening of that sort. So that's always a good sign too. But I won't be surprised if we have some minor damage the rest of tonight. Not only from these tornado warnings that go up from suspected tornadoes, but just from the wind itself. Really, the wind in these storms coming through tonight. Very impressive wind gusts. You know, when we have those weak structures or weak trees and tree branches, they just get blown around very easily. You get a tree branch going on a power line, your power's out, unfortunately. And hopefully, you know, we don't have too many cases of that, but I know we have been getting some reports of power outages on the North Shore this evening. So we'll continue to watch. Also, as the line continues to push eastward, we're seeing a lot of heavy rain too associated with it. So if you have to hit the road for any reason, you're doing something on your Saturday night, try to delay it if you can, because it's going to be really rough driving. From Covington to Mandeville, very heavy rain right along the causeway as well. A lot of lightning with this line of storms. There's your tornado warning in St. Tammany Parish right now, and we'll continue to, you know, monitor that until about 9:15. Sorry, did you have something for me back there? Oh, okay. Mandeville. Okay, we wanted to show you just a shot here in Mandeville, US 190 at Louisiana 22. So in Mandeville, yeah, you can see the roads are pretty wet. We're going to continue to see some rain across parts of St. Tammany Parish. People are driving along here, but hopefully, you know, taking it easy on the roads. You see the flashes of lightning, a lot of lightning with this line of storms coming in. Big flashes of lightning, and that'll continue to be the trend throughout the next couple of hours as this line advances eastward. Now in Laplace, there's actually a flash flood warning for St. Charles Parish and St. John the Baptist Parish. So not only do we have this tornado warning for St. Tammany, we've got some flash flood warnings for our river parishes in Laplace for St. Charles and St. John the Baptist now. So a lot of heavy rain associated with this. We've got the rain, we've got the strong winds, and we've got the small hail, plus isolated tornado risk associated with this line as well. So it is a rough night of weather. It is going to be busy when it comes to our weather till about midnight tonight. So that will be what we have going on. There is actually an update now from the National Weather Service. They determine where these boxes are. They determine where the tornado warnings go. They're very diligent. They're very vigilant. They're watching it, you know, very closely, and they've shaved off some of the box. So no longer including South Mississippi in that box. It's just in St. Tammany Parish. The box is the tornado warning. And so that includes the town of Pearl River. That includes the town of Hickory. This is all west of the Pearl River itself in St. Tammany. So if you are in the town of Hickory along Louisiana 41, if you're on Archie Singletary Road in this area, Charter Oak Church, if you know that you live around here, Florenville, this is where you want to just hang back, hang in your safe place until this storm passes, because this is a possible tornado that we are tracking right now. Radar indicated. Not certain if anything's reaching the ground, but it is radar indicated. We'll see if we can maybe see some debris getting lofted up. No real strong signatures of anything getting lofted up to what I'm looking at here. There might be maybe some minor like very high trees, if there's some rotation that's starting to come down a little bit, maybe some like branches off of a very high tree could be getting pulled up, but it really doesn't look like much. This does not look alarming. This does not look alarming at all, which is a good sign. But still, there is a possible tornado, and we're going to continue to monitor how the trend of this looks. The scan here showing the red and the green, which the red indicates winds that are moving away from the radar site in Hammond. The green indicates the winds are going towards it, so you kind of get that twisting motion, which is why we have that tornado warning issued, because the twisting motion equals possible tornado. And that is still, again, west of Louisiana 41 in the vicinity of Hickory in this general area, which is, you know, interesting because was it yet? I don't even know what date. Yesterday or 2 days ago, there was that I think it was yesterday, in EF0 in St. Tammany. The EF0 tornado hit St. Tammany yesterday morning pretty early near the 6th Ward Elementary near Pearl River. So once again, they have a tornado warning and a possible tornado in St. Tammany, again, near Hickory along Louisiana 41. Get in that safe place now and just wait this storm out. As we wait it out with you, we want you to certainly heed the warning, take it seriously. I know it's been a busy night. We keep cutting into your programming, and I'm sorry about that, but you know, we've got some rough weather coming in, and it's been a while since we've seen such bad weather. And we were mentioning, you know, the last couple of days that the North Shore would get it worse than the South Shore, and so it does look like it's playing out that way when it comes to the tornadic activity. There have been several tornado warnings for the North Shore today, and not only that, we have this very robust line of storms pushing through the North and South Shore. River parishes, LaPlace, St. Charles Parish, St. John the Baptist, heavy rain, flash flooding for them. So there is actually flash flooding going on across parts of our river parishes now. I did want to zoom in and show you. There's a tornado warning. I want to keep that so people can see that it's in eastern St. Tammany. Slidell is not included in this. This is north of Slidell, not included in this. But I did want to point out along I-10 here in our river parishes, very heavy rain, flash flooding going on there for St. Charles and St. John the Baptist. In LaPlace, there's a lot of lightning too, plus the very heavy downpours. Now this is all going to be moving eastward, so it's going to be moving into Jefferson Parish, into the New Orleans metro area within the next hour, and it's going to bring some heavy rain and gusty winds and lightning to the New Orleans metro area over the next couple of hours. So luckily this line of storms is moving by, it's zipping by pretty quickly, but it's bringing us the impacts right now. Strong storms all the way down the bayou, Houma to Thibodaux, heavy rain, gusty winds, and quite a bit of lightning with that line on the South Shore and onto our river parishes with the flash flooding ongoing for parts of St. Charles and St. John the Baptist near LaPlace. More importantly, of course, is the tornado warning that we are continuing to monitor at this point. Seeing some good signs with this one. Looks like that the rotation that is, you know, within the storm has really broadened and weakened, which is a very good sign. That means that there's likely no more rotation. There's likely no more possibility of a tornado on the ground. There might be some weak rotation that continues aloft, but the signs are that things are trending in a good direction, that there's less indication that there's a tornado, there's less of a sign that things are spinning, which is what we want to see. But nevertheless, when these warnings go out, sometimes they have to, if we get too close to the time that it needs to be expired, which it does expire at 9:15, I'm not sure if they're able to expire it, because that's just the procedural way that it goes. So, but we'll be on here watching it just to watch it vigilantly or diligently and make sure nothing changes. But so far things look like they're quieting down. Things look like they're weakening and things are broadening, and that's what we definitely want to see. But in the meantime, if you're in the Hickory area west of Pearl River, the Pearl River itself in St. Tammany, just hang out indoors, wait for the storm to pass anyway, and just wait for the whole night to kind of become a little bit more friendly, because this is what you have right behind it. A lot of heavy rain and gusty winds, just regular old thunderstorms coming in right behind that tornado warning. Downpours across St. Tammany Parish, a lot of lightning, small hail, and the strong wind gusts with the storms, maybe up to 40 or 50 miles per hour or so within the storm. It could be a little less, give or take, especially back behind that leading edge, maybe 20, 30 mile per hour gusts. You get some branches down though, might be a little bit of a messy situation on some of our roadways, like branches and twigs down and leaves and stuff like that, going into driving late tonight and back on the road tomorrow morning. But luckily, all of these storms will be winding down and wrapping up by midnight, 1 a.m. at the absolute latest, like for the entire area. So we'll be seeing much nicer weather going into the overnight hours. I did want to go back over to the heavy rain. Causeway just getting slammed with heavy rain and frequent lightning. Very heavy rain for LaPlace, our river parishes, dealing with that flash flooding. So there are some significant downpours with this line of storms, and they will be pushing into the rest of St. Charles Parish, into Luling, and then eventually into Jefferson Parish, eventually into the city of New Orleans. So this is what is coming towards us. It's moving from west to east. It's heading in our direction across southeast Louisiana and South Mississippi. It's been coming, and it's continuing to press eastward at this point. So we have a tornado warning for St. Tammany Parish that's in effect until 9:15. But so far, it looks like the tornado threat is going down, is weakening the way that the radar data is showing us. We also have very heavy rain from Covington to Mandeville down to our river parishes, flash flood warning for Laplace and St. Charles and St. John Parish. I did want to double check since we're still monitoring this tornado warning. Things still look good. Things still look like they're not a big threat, not a big worry when it comes to the winds rotating, because it's kind of broad and not really showing much of a tight couplet. It's not jumping off the map. It's definitely a fantastic sight. Wonderful news when you can tell you that you can, be calm and not worry. That's certainly a good thing for sure. As we go into the next few hours, though, we'll have some very heavy rain continuing across the North Shore. So there are no severe threats across Covington and Mandeville, but it is raining really hard in Covington and Mandeville, and the winds are gusty. We've got a lot of lightning in Covington and Mandeville and Madisonville right along the lakefront here on the North Shore. Slidell, no action yet, but you may feel the winds picking up here if you're on the western part of Slidell. Slidell is going to see some heavy rain and strong wind gusts too over the next 15 minutes, and that'll continue over the next hour as the storms push eastward. So Slidell is about to see the heavy rain and the wind gusts. Slidell is not included in any severe warnings. No warnings for them, just a lot of rain and a lot of storms coming in that direction for Slidell in the next 15 minutes or so. But then that's just the leading edge of it. You've got more rain and storms to deal with behind it. A lot of lightning packed in with those storms in St. Tammany Parish. And they're moving into South Mississippi as well. Those heavy downpours and frequent lightning and stronger gusts with the storm. Now transitioning to the South Shore, very heavy rain starting to make its way into parts of St. Charles Parish. One little localized heavy downpour here out ahead of it in Metairie. So heavy rain impacting Metairie and River Ridge right here, right where the river bends right there. Metairie seeing some heavy rain across New Orleans Metro. The West Bank starting to see some downpours out ahead of that main line. So that's really just the beginning for the East and West Bank of New Orleans. Some showers are starting to move in, but the heavy stuff is off to the west. What was that? I think we're going to pull up. Oh, we have a Laplace camera we wanted to show you. Yeah, it's wet on the roads and Laplace right now. You can see all that lightning going off. So yeah, we'll have wet roads over the next several hours across, the entire area. Make sure you're driving carefully. There will be those big puddles. You can kind of see some of the puddles here as the cars are making their turn here. Yeah, big puddles that they're pushing the water with their cars. So you do want to take it easy on the roads tonight, because there will be hard to see and easily disguised puddles. Big flashes of lightning. The lightning is just ongoing. So that's what we'll have, a lot of lightning and some heavier downpours, leading to some trouble spots on the roadways. And when it's nighttime, sometimes it's hard to see if there's any big ponding areas on the road, if there's any big huge puddles. It's really hard to see at night. So just take it slow, take it easy if you will be traveling around this evening, because we have these really significant downpours that could create a bit of a flooding issue for some of us. We do have flash flooding happening for Laplace and in St. Charles and St. John the Baptist Parish now. That heavy rain will continue to shift eastward towards New Orleans. So if I zoom in just right in the city of New Orleans, yeah, Metairie getting it right now, right on the leading edge, right as you get onto the causeway here in Metairie, heavy downpour there along I-10, down into River Ridge as well. Also seeing parts of rain some parts of the uptown, seeing some rain right now out ahead of that leading edge. Some rain also for New Orleans East in that direction. Tarrytown and Marrero on the West Bank and Algiers, seeing the rain starting to pick up into Chalmette and Belle Chase. But this is just that spotty stuff right out ahead of what's coming in right behind it, and what's behind it is very heavy rain and strong winds and lightning. So flooding is possible tonight for the South Shore, like we are seeing now in our river parishes. The downpours, even though this line is moving past pretty quickly, the line is dumping a lot of rain. So you can pick up quite a bit of rain in a short amount of time on the South Shore. We know it does not take much to get flooding in the city of New Orleans, so we'll have some big puddles on the roads, maybe some isolated street flooding tonight. That's something to certainly be mindful of if you will be traveling around tonight. Did get a new update from the National Weather Service. There is a flash flood warning that's coming out for Jefferson and Orleans Parish because this heavy line of storms is approaching. So just getting out ahead of it. They know that the rain is going to be coming down hard. They're going to issue a flash flood warning for Jefferson and Orleans Parish. So we will have some flooding concerns across parts of the metro area. There will be some flooding likely in a few spots, especially the typical usual spots that we see flooding when we have heavy downpours. So that's something that we'll have to deal with the rest of tonight. We'll continue to monitor how it, transpires in the coming hours. Also, with the flash flood warning that's just been issued for Jefferson Parish and Orleans, neutral ground parking is allowed through 8 a.m. tomorrow. So neutral ground parking is allowed for the New Orleans Metro until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning because of the risk of heavy rain and street flooding that will be with us through the next couple of hours until about midnight tonight. So that's what we got. Some heavy rain coming our way and some street flooding looking pretty likely. I'll pull up Streetwise. That's what we use sometimes to see if there's any reports of flooding. No reports as of yet, and not surprising because the worst of the rain hasn't even come into the city of New Orleans yet. It's on the way for sure. Did want to check back and make sure everything's looking okay with our tornado warned area, which is in St. Tammany Parish. Yes, things are looking good. This kind of just like a blob of red means that the winds are all moving in the same direction. It's windy, but they're all moving in the same direction, which means don't have to worry about a tornado. So I think we're going to put that one to rest right now and focus on the heavy rain that will be continuing for our metro area, for the North Shore, St. Tammany Parish, from Covington to Mandeville to Picayune. Very heavy rain. Watch for those big puddles. So there will be some street flooding expected in a few spots, especially for the New Orleans Metro. Here's that flash flood warning that's just been issued. It includes the East and West Bank, City of New Orleans, down to Belle Chase, parts of Jefferson Parish as well, which includes Metairie. So that is what we have from Metairie to Kenner to the City of New Orleans to the West Bank, down to Belle Chase, Chalmette, all the way into New Orleans East. That key spots that we know that floods pretty easily, is ready to go and ready to flood at the drop of a hat. We could see some isolated street flooding into tonight because this is just the beginning of the heavy rain that will continue probably for the next 2 hours, maybe hopefully less, because this line is moving by pretty quickly. But I would say over the next hour to 2 hours at most, we've got some heavy rain that's going to be pushing through. There will be some, some lulls in the rain. It's not going to be downpouring every second of the next 2 hours, but the waves of downpours will be coming for the city of New Orleans. That's why there is that flash flood warning. The National Weather Service has decided to cancel that tornado warning for St. Tammany, so we're good to go. Just like we suspected, don't have to worry about that. No tornado warnings anymore. We're done with that. We've moved on to flash flooding concerns for our river parishes and the city of New Orleans. We're just starting to see some downpours pop up on both sides of the river now. Heavier showers now pushing through Metairie. The causeway is getting slammed with heavy rain and frequent lightning. If you know someone is about to leave, or if you're about to leave yourself, just wait a couple hours because it is very treacherous when it's raining this hard. You can't see. The windshield wipers certainly cannot keep up with this kind of rain. Heavy rain into the river parishes down the bayou as well, into Thibodaux and Houma, and Raceland and Des Allemands seeing some heavy rain. They're on the leading edge of that, and that'll continue to move in that east-southeast direction like we've been talking about all night. So let me just zoom out completely. You can get a wider picture of what's happening, and then we will see if we can get any other updates from anyone. Let's see, from the National Weather Service, they're saying that they're seeing rainfall rates of about 3 to 4 inches an hour. So they're just keeping an eye on trends. 3 to 4 inch an hour rainfall rates, nothing to sneeze at. So that's a lot of rain coming our way. This is what we have. The worst of the weather, it is happening now. It is moving through the North Shore and the South Shore. From I-59 in South Mississippi down to Covington, Mandeville. Slidell is starting to get some heavy rain and gusty winds moving in. Down through Lake Pontchartrain, the whole lake is covered. The causeway is covered with heavy rain, and look at all of the lightning with this storm. Down through our river parishes and even down the bayou, the city of New Orleans under a flash flood warning.
And Alexa,
yes.
just want to let you know, Whitney here, y'all.
Yeah.
The causeway is closed northbound and southbound right now because of that heavy rain that you're just talking about.
Okay.
The estimated closure time, they say, is 1 hour, but it's just an estimate, so updates will follow. Obviously, we'll keep you posted on that here too, so just want to let you know you're correct when you say just take some time before you leave.
Yeah, thank you so much. So yeah, Whitney Miller here just brought us some really vital information. The causeway is closed for the next hour. So, and that's an estimation. It could be longer, but about 1 hour from now until about 1 hour from now, 1 hour closure on the causeway because the rain is just so blinding and so heavy. So it is definitely a lot of rain. 3 to 4 inches an hour rainfall rates. That is a ton of rain. And you know, it's moving by pretty quickly, but not quick enough. Okay. And the storms, they are packing a punch, and it's transitioning now to more of a heavy rain threat and a gusty wind threat, but there's no severe warnings, no wind warnings, nothing of that sort, but it's more of a rain and brief gusty winds and lightning problem that we're facing right now. I'm not seeing any reports of any flooding on Streetwise at this moment. I know we check there quite a bit to see if there's any reports of any, the typical spots that flood, but nothing coming in yet. Yeah.
Speaking of flooding, NOLA ready emergency alert. They are heavy rain. They are concerned about street flooding in low-lying areas. So neutral ground parking has been allowed until 8 a.m. But obviously do not block intersections, streetcar tracks, sidewalks, or bike paths, that kind of thing. And then also, if you are driving and you do see some flooding, turn around, don't drown.
That's right, exactly.
I want to avoid that. I'm checking. I'm going to try to check and see if there are any flooding popping up. But NOLA Ready is sending out some. I can't speak. They're sending out alerts saying that you can,
of course,
park.
Yeah, I wonder if we could pull up any cameras because we could just show you how hard the rain is coming down. I'm not sure if we're able to do that, but I can pull up the cameras I'm seeing over here. Do you think you'll be able to pull up a camera back there? I'm not sure if. Just like Skycam. Yeah, Skycam just over the city. Just to show you how hard the rain is coming down. Whatever one looks the best, the one that shows the skyline. I guess you can't really see so bad too much because the hardest of the rain hasn't started coming down just yet. But you can see some raindrops here on our Skycam. The worst of that line is still back west in the river parishes, and we're just seeing some downpours skirt by like the lakefront part of New Orleans. Seeing a flash of lightning there. There is a ton of lightning with this line of storms. That is going to continue to progress eastward. And we can go back to the radar now just to show you what I was talking about. Yeah, the heavy stuff still placed in the river parishes, in Laplace, along I-10, moving into Luling, moving into Des Allemands. Some downpours for the New Orleans lakefront, especially like Lakefront Airport in that area. That's where some heavier stuff is passing by through like Algiers. Algiers just saw some heavy rain, and now Arabi seeing some heavy rain as well, pushing through and getting into that direction, headed towards New Orleans East, the Seabrook region as well, and towards City Park and into parts of the French Quarter. I know we had some downpours here on the French Quarter on Rampart Street, but that has passed by as we await this bigger line of rain that's coming. It's moving into Kenner now. It's moving into Kenner. It's moving towards the airport. It's moving in this Destrehan right along the river here, River Ridge, seeing some heavy downpours moving eastward. Also, that continues to, just pummel the lake. That's why the causeway is closed. The causeway is closed because of the heavy rain over the next hour. So this is what we have, very heavy rain pushing in now. It's moving by pretty quickly, but it's dumping anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of rain per hour. We can kind of see how much rain we picked up over the last hour. I know it's not going to show us a whole bunch because most of it has been back west, and where it has fallen in our river parishes in Laplace, that's why we've gotten, that flash flood warning out farther west. So yeah, over 3 inches of rain have fallen in parts of our river parishes. So that's what you can expect, 3 to 4 inch per hour rainfall rates. That is going to cause some flooding issues, especially in our normal spots, in our low-lying areas that flood when you look at it wrong. It's just how it is sometimes. And when we have these heavy rain scenarios set up, we get the flash flood warnings pretty easily. Heavy downpours across Lake Pontchartrain, starting to move towards Slidell along I-12 in St. Tammany Parish. Heavy rain down the bayou, Lafourche Parish down to Houma. Those are some serious downpours. A ton of lightning here from Thibodaux to Raceland to Des Allemands in Lafourche Parish. That is a lot of lightning. Make sure you're staying indoors and waiting for this line of storms to pass. Gusty winds too along this line, but sub-severe, no severe warnings, just flash flood warnings for the metro area. That's that green blinking box. There are some sparse pockets where it's not raining, but that'll get filled in as the line moves east. Heavier downpours headed towards New Orleans east and closer to the Twin Span, moving over the Twin Span. Heavy downpours, a rough ride for the Twin Span towards Slidell. So Slidell seeing the heavy rain and the action starting to unfold for them as well as the line progresses eastward into Mississippi as well. So Picayune along I-59, you're getting pummeled with the heavy rain. Fortunately, behind it, there's not going to be much. Once we get done with this leading edge, that'll be really it. Right behind it, yes, we'll have some steady and soaking showers. And then that last little push, that's west of Morgan City, but this is the extent of the bad weather that we'll have. This is our last and final round that will be with us until about midnight tonight. I would say at the latest. I just want to tack on some cushion, you know, just so it clears the entire area. So I'll stay until about midnight tonight. That's how long we'll be dealing with these storms. The worst and heaviest of the rain is going to be moving into Jefferson Parish. It's starting to push into Kenner and Metairie now, but look at that downpour just west of Kenner along I-10 right here in St. Charles Parish, including Luling. That is a significant downpour that's going to slam and move right through JP over the next 5-10 minutes or so. So we'll have the waves of very heavy rain across the city, across JP, across the city of New Orleans in the next half an hour of really significant downpours and frequent lightning. There is so much lightning that's packed in right there. It is very impressive to see all that lightning. It's not a good thing, but unfortunately that's what we have. It's a significant amount of lightning with this storm that's pushing through now. I want to see if there's any updates coming in. No reports of any damage at this point. Whitney, I don't know if you're able to see anything out there. I don't know if anyone's been texting you or calling you or letting you know of anything coming out.
Yeah, I don't see any flooding on Streetwise at this moment right now. But like you said, those storms are just starting to hit our area.
Yeah, and you know what? It's just one of those nights where it's Saturday night. We want to enjoy it, but if you can delay your Saturday evening fun plans, do it, because you don't want to be out on the road in this. The rain's coming down so hard, you're not going to be able to drive properly. You would have to pull over. I did want to zoom in and kind of break down where the heaviest of the rain is across the city of New Orleans. Really towards 510, heading in New Orleans east direction. That's where we've got some heavier downpours. I'll zoom in even more. Yeah, towards Michoud, east of Gentilly in this direction. And that's really where we have that one significant downpour. Some heavier showers, though, straddling uptown, the uptown section of New Orleans, over to the West Bank in Marrero. Some heavy downpours for Lapalco Boulevard now. So we're getting them pushing in the city. Jefferson Parish getting slammed.
And Alexa, I mean, you know, just want to remind people, like, it's important for us to be showing you this because of the potential of tornadoes. And I guess talk a little bit about how those things can just pop up quickly. Right,
yeah. So luckily, you know, we've had not much of a concern with the tornadoes over the last few minutes. Earlier they popped up very rapidly. Like I was mentioning before, we have this line of this squall line, and out ahead of it sometimes you can get isolated tornadoes. But I think the tornado threat is dwindling for our immediate area. I think because we're done with the leading edge of it, I don't think really we're gonna have to worry about tornadoes anymore. Maybe we get one warning could be triggered east of I-59, but that's moving out of our viewing area. So I think we're done with the tornado.
But the main concern now is the flooding.
It's the flooding. Yeah, we've gone now to transition to flooding, and I feel like that happens here sometimes. We go from one thing to the next here. It's never a dull moment. But yeah, flooding now a concern, and lightning. Just a ton of lightning, and you just don't want to be out, and you don't want to be caught in the situation.
And how quickly the flash flooding can occur. I mean, the levels can rise so quickly if you're driving.
Yes, and at night too. And I've had that happen to me where I'm driving along and it looks fine, and then I just hit a huge puddle. So your normal, routes that you take on a Saturday night, might be impacted, might have a lot of water on it. Yeah, we're gonna switch over to some traffic cameras and take a look and see Okay, this is I-10 at Williams. You can see the road is wet. People are driving slowly. People are certainly driving very slowly. I know it's a little bit blurry, but I think you can tell that there is a big puddle right there, and people are taking it easy on the roads. That's really the best advice, is to just take it easy, slow it down. You may have to pull over. You may have to turn around and go a different way. Like we always say, turn around, don't drown. It is definitely not worth it. We've seen time and time again people risking it. Not worth the risk. I have turned around. Even though I thought I would be good, I still turned around because you just don't know what's underneath that puddle. You don't know how deep it's going to go. You simply don't. It may look
or if
like
there's a pothole.
If there's a pothole, if there's something sharp, simply don't walk through a big puddle either. There could be like sharp objects there. Don't drive through a big puddle. You just don't know. Potholes, sharp objects. You don't know how deep it is, and then once it's too late, it's too late. So you don't even want to be involved in anything like that. But yeah, this is what we have. This significant line of heavy rain pushing in now, frequent lightning and gusty winds as well. There may be some power outages as the lightning continues to flash along this line. So don't be surprised if either your power goes out for a short time or it flickers, because it's just an impactful line of storms. And flash flooding now is our big concern for the New Orleans metro. There is that flash flood warning in effect for the next couple of hours, and that neutral ground parking is allowed for the city. So in New Orleans metro area for JP and for the New Orleans metro, since it is raining so hard, we have the flash flood warning. Neutral ground parking is allowed until 8 a.m. tomorrow morning to account for that. And the worst of the rain is starting to work in now more into St. Charles and getting into Jefferson Parish, getting into Orleans Parish now. So the heavy downpours are moving in as we speak, and they will continue because there is more behind it. There is more to come. That's why there is a warning for flooding, because it's not just this leading edge. There's just a bunch of rain that's coming in right behind it. Look at all the lightning towards Des Allemands. That'll continue to move eastward and impact more of our river parishes and New Orleans metro area in the next 20 minutes or so. And I'm not getting any reports of any damage. That's always what we like to see. Sometimes it happens later, though.
How fast is this moving through our area? How long do you think we'll be under this?
It's moving by pretty quickly. The storms earlier were moving like 40 or 50 miles per hour, which is fast. And I've been saying all night we'll be done by midnight. I think even like 11 o'clock midnight, we'll be completely done with the weather, because there is still some back off to the west. It doesn't look as bad. Like we'll have some rain later tonight, but the worst of the weather is blowing through now, and that'll continue over the next hour to 2 hours. And once we get to about 11 o'clock, I think we'll see things, much less impactful. Maybe some rain lingers till about midnight or 1 a.m., but I think the stronger storms and the very significant heavy rain is happening now over the next hour to 2 hours across the area. So I wonder if we could pull up any other cameras to show you anything. Also, I wanted to see the latest information coming in from the National Weather Service. They did get a 42 mile per hour gust report from Mandeville. So Mandeville is reporting wind gusts above 40 miles per hour. So that's what we have, the gusty winds, 40 plus miles per hour, certainly possible. That could knock down some trees and things like that. What was that? Sorry. Oh yes, yeah. So we're showing up the tower cam here, showing you some lightning and some rain coming in across It's just looking on the south, looking towards the lake. Okay, from the west bank. Okay, yeah. So we're looking towards the lake from the west bank. You can see the rain coming down. The lightning just flashed in the distance. I'm sure we'll get another flash in just a moment, just to show you how heavy that rain was coming down. It's hard to see. I mean, it's nighttime. It's just a further point to drive home is not to get on the roads right now, because it's just so hard to see, and it's not a good time to travel. When you have this rain coming down, your windshield wipers can't keep up with the rain. You can't see puddles. It's just a stressful situation you don't want to be in. Looking at the radar trends now, still very heavy rain from Homa to Raceland to Des Allemands to Luling. Laplace still dealing with flash flooding. New Orleans Metro will continue to see flash flooding over the next hour as this batch of rain continues to move east-northeast. The heavy downpours are starting to move into the city. The city of New Orleans is getting some very significant downpours, but there are some batches where, not much is happening from Chalmette to Belle Chase. It's a quiet moment and there's no rain happening there, but the rain fills in, the gaps get filled in. So from Kenner to Metairie, that's where we got these downpours coming in from Luling to Des Allemands, and this will push on through rapidly. So thankfully it is moving by pretty rapidly. There is actually a new report coming in from the New Orleans area. There is a station, at the New Orleans Lakefront Airport. So the New Orleans Lakefront Airport just monitored a peak wind gust, or just reported a peak wind gust of 50 miles per hour. So we have a 50-mile-per-hour wind gust at the New Orleans Lakefront Airport. So very strong gusty winds with this line of storms as well. That's why we could get those down trees and down power lines and power outages, plus the flooding rains coming in as well. Some of us in our river parishes got over 3 inches of rain in a very short amount of time, in about an hour, a little bit less than that. So yeah, this is dumping quite a bit of significant rain across the city and across the river parishes and the North Shore for that matter. Slidell, heavy rain coming in along I-12 and I-10. Twin Span, not a good drive right now, not a good scene. Very heavy rain over the Twin Span now. And that'll continue to move towards Slidell and through eastern St. Tammany Parish and eventually into South Mississippi. Covington and Mandeville, yes, it's raining, but things are starting to lighten up slightly. It's still heavy rain, of course, from Covington to Mandeville, but the worst of the rain is starting to shift off more to the east towards Slidell, towards Picayune, and even Bogalusa starting to see some of that rain subside a bit. Franklinton really seeing the rain subside. So that is a good trend as this pushes eastward. There's nothing behind it. You can see there's nothing behind it. So the North Shore, yes, it's raining heavily. We've got a lot of lightning going into the North Shore and South Mississippi, but it is progressing to the east now. But Slidell getting slammed with the heavy rain and the lightning now. So if you are in Slidell and you're watching this and you're thinking you want to drive to New Orleans right now, wait a little bit longer. Wait like an hour and a half and then head to the city, or vice versa. Not a good time to hit the Twin Span, not a good time to hit the road. And I was wondering, Whitney, if they had given you any updates about the causeway. I know it's still closed.
The causeway did just send another email just saying that it's closed still.
Okay.
Okay. Still closed.
Did they say what time they're going to?
They didn't say the time in the second email. The first email was just saying that it'll be an hour closure, and that was about 20 minutes ago, I want to say. I'll double check.
Okay, so the causeway is still closed anyway, so you can't even
close both directions.
Close both directions. Perfect. Okay, good. So I mean that's good on their part. You know, just to avoid any problems. Causeway is closed in both directions.
Due to poor visibility, the Causeway Bridge is closed at this time. Updates to follow, and that was 9:15.
Okay. Okay. So it's still closed, and it will remain closed probably for the next 45 minutes or so. So Causeway is still closed for the next 45 minutes. Checking out the heavy rain down the bayou and for the river parishes. Here we go. Heavy downpours. Homa's seeing it too. There are some gaps in the rain. Coastal spots, not so bad, like not really seeing much towards the coast at all, really. Lower Plaquemines is good. Down the coast of Grand Isle, really nothing happening. It's just focused now for our really centrally populated areas, the city, west in our river parishes, and into the North Shore of St. Tammany Parish. That's where the heaviest of the downpours are happening now. The rain is letting up slightly, ever so slightly over Lake Pontchartrain. So I'm sure that, you know, like they said, it will be 1 hour closure. I bet it'll, you know, be roughly a 1 hour closure for them. So we're going to take a look at the Twin Span now on our live camera. Yep, the lightning is just going right now, and people have their flashers on. I don't blame them. I mean, it's a dangerous drive. It's scary. People are flashing. They don't want anyone to pass them, or they want people to pass them. They don't want to be stuck in the fast lane here. They want to be safe. So yeah, this is what the situation is. The rain's coming down so hard. People using their hazard lights because it's hard to see when the rain is so blinding. I know my windshield wipers can't keep up with it. People, more hazard lights here. Significant amount of lightning and rain that's making the drive pretty treacherous. So hopefully you can delay any travel plans that you had this evening, because it is pretty sketchy on the roads now with all the rain and the storms blowing through at this point. There will be some hard to see puddles tonight. Even as the rain, you know, stops over the next hour or two, the puddles and the ponding is very difficult to see, especially if any of our lights are out. It's going to be extremely hard to see anything like that. Getting into right now, okay, so I did just get a preliminary update here. We got a preliminary update that I'm getting many updates right now. I apologize. Let me read you the first thing. From St. Tammany Fire Protection, they're receiving word that a roof was ripped off of a home in Lacombe. So they're not able to confirm that yet, but a word that maybe a report of maybe a roof being ripped off of a home in Lacombe. So that's something also. Okay, and we are actually going to be signing off now since we're just dealing with some heavy rain, but we will be back for the WWL Louisiana News at 10.
This has been a